Hey everybody, welcome back to Talking Motorcycles. My name is Mitch. You can follow me on Instagram at Meets to the Beach.
And my name is Gleb, and I almost spilled my coffee.
You did.
And you can follow me on Instagram at GlebLapham. And today we're going to be talking about smart helmets.
Yep.
So if, was it a couple of weeks ago? I guess last month, Cardo announced their
new Cardo Beyond helmet.
The Cardo Beyond smart helmet. And it kind of sent us down the rabbit hole of looking into smart helmets and why they haven't really been around. I mean, I feel like they first started popping up way before I even started riding motorcycles. Yeah. And it was kind of during that trend of everything becoming smart, like smart TV, smart watch, smart car.
Well, one of the brands we're going to talk about, like I remember first hearing about it like in college, like when we worked at Best Buy, and everything was fancy and new and techy.
Yep. Everything's like becoming connected and all that kind of stuff. And I feel like now we're approaching the point where everything has to have AI in it, or at least label like that it has AI in it, whether it's actual like language learning model, like, or the large language models like we see ChatGPT, or is it just like AI processing, which is just a fancy word for, hey, our processor does this. Like you'll see like microphones or so many like like gaming headsets and stuff say like AI noise canceling and blah blah blah. Well, it's really just it's just hyper.
Yeah, it's just a faster or not faster, but like a more. I forget how. I used to have to learn some of this stuff.
It's basically like an algorithm that filters things out. Yeah. It's just AI is a fancy term, but
machine learning a little bit. Yeah, thank you. That's what I was looking for.
But then you have like actual large language models, like. But anyways, I feel like we're seeing this kind of pop up in motorcycle gear a little bit, or at least the AI, the term itself, not necessarily like
or smart features
and things like that. So it's like I said, it sent us down the rabbit hole of smart helmets, and there's been a few over the years that have kind of popped up and really haven't gone too far. And should we start with? Let's start with Cardo.
Okay, Cardo actually announced. Let me get back to that one here. But it came out a few weeks ago or announced. It's not out yet. There are the two models that they're touting is there's the Beyond GT and the Beyond GTS. Mm-hmm. The GTS is going to have like a bigger battery life, longer battery life, and like built-in noise canceling included in the package. Yeah. And stuff like noise canceling I think is pretty cool. Like, they're like, again, like there's some good stuff in here.
Like one of the features I wish that our Cardos had is, I think one of the Sennas actually has it, where it's like noise like kind of filtering or something, where it like filters outside sound. So if someone's like talking to you, it'll kind of like filter that through to your headset so you can like hear a conversation easier with the helmet on. Yeah. Like things like that, I think it's pretty cool. Noise canceling, I still don't know if it'll replace like actual earplugs. But it's still kind of cool to see that.
No, for sure. And yeah, we'll go over all that here. But the helmet itself, like the actual body and shell, made up of a carbon fiber composite. So at least that's gonna help with weight reduction with everything they're packing into it. We hope. So, and then it just other like not basic, but just stuff you see in other helmets, like an integrated sun visor. It's going to use the intermediate oval head shape, which I think is what I wear. It's pretty. I think it's like the most common.
One of the most common shapes. Yeah.
It's got. They talk about like how they've changed up the airflow. They've got three position ram airjet or airstreams like on the top face, and then in the back it's just a passive flow through with a vent.
Yeah.
Which, same thing. I don't know what they did different, but it's what our helmets do.
Yeah.
So. But moving on through the tech, we get into the more smart features. We have the front LED UI, so it'll display system status. It didn't mention anything else like navigation or anything like it. I don't think it's a heads-up display necessarily.
I don't remember seeing. I think it's just like an indicator, basically showing like battery life and whether you're connected to
just
your friends or whatnot.
Stuff like that.
Basically, the lights that you see on the side of like your Cardo unit. So you're kind of seeing it
like from the pictures. If you go to their website, it looks like it's gonna be like down below. So so you can still see it pretty easily.
Yeah.
And then with this helmet, it has a built-in brake light. I don't know how the helmet knows when you're braking, if you have to connect it to a bike that has Bluetooth, or if if it has like some sense of motion.
My guess is going to be the motion, because there is and I can't think of the top of my head, there is a brand out there where they basically sell like a stick-on like light to the back of your helmet, and it uses like an accelerometer to know when you're braking and stuff. You kind of like, lean forward, you're slowing down, and it kind of just knows.
I wonder how good those work.
I'm not sure, but I do like that idea. I think it's nice to basically add more visibility to a motorcyclist, and especially like braking from the back. Some motorcyclists have very small tail lights, or they kind of get obscured by if you're carrying luggage, for example, or maybe you have something strapped onto the back of the bike,
or if someone's in a big truck and they're tailgating you, they don't see your brake light.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's kind of cool to have that. And I don't know, I guess it's kind of neat that they're integrated into the helmet.
And I would like to see how it works. This is a thought I was curious about, is like, does it work like a running light? Like, so is it on, and then when you slow down, then it brightens up? Or is it going to be more of it, there's no light, so if you're riding at nighttime, there's no light.
Yeah.
But then you slow down, and then all of a sudden this light pops up to make more, because that would disturb like that pattern recognition that, with driving.
Maybe.
So,
well,
I don't know.
I don't know. The way I see it, if it does pop up like only when you're braking, I feel like it would remind me of like when cars, they have like the two tail lights, then they also have usually like the brake strip up above, at least here in the States. I don't know if that's worldwide, but like they usually have like a brake light up at the top of like the trunk area or whatnot, like higher up. So I wonder if it's that, and it kind of gives more of like almost like a triangular shape that you're looking at. Yeah. So I feel like even if it doesn't light up or is not lit up all the time, it probably can still kind of help alert people.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking. I was like, if it only comes on like when you're braking to like, but no, it seems so. But I do like, that's one feature I do really like. It also has crash detection, so you're probably right with the motion. Accelerometer stuff. So it'll have a crash detection. I don't know if that's going to be linked to any services like OnStar or whatever. I don't even know if that's still a thing, but like, I know like certain car brands have like services you can sign up for that. Yeah. And then we get into Cardo, which they're known for, which is their audio. 53 millimeter speakers.
Which is, on that, it's nice because I believe the ones that we have in our helmets are like 43 or 42 millimeter something like that. Speakers. So bigger speakers usually means better sound. So it's kind of nice. And I'm assuming because they kind of developed the helmet and their comm system inside, it's going to basically allow them to put those bigger speakers in and kind of have them more flush and integrated. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, and with that too, what you're saying is like those big speakers are also, they're built into they're a new acoustic box design specifically for this helmet. So it's like they're gonna have that nice little audio tunnel for you.
Oh, nice.
So that'll be really helpful. As we mentioned, active noise canceling is available for this helmet. Either it's included in the package with the GTS, and it'll be sold separately for the GT. Mm-hmm. So if you want that, it's an option for you. And yeah, like you said with active noise canceling, I don't know how I feel about that personally, because like with my AirPods, it seems like sometimes like the active noise canceling won't cut out in time.
Yeah.
So I miss like the first split second of a.
I'm very curious to see how that works, and I don't think, in my mind, I'm at least not like picturing it being an alternative to wearing like proper earplugs while riding, because I don't know if it will like cut out enough of like the frequencies that are damaging to your ear, but maybe it'll just kind of help like dull down some of the external noise, especially like wind or traffic or like road noise when you're traveling at constant speed. But I feel like I would still rely on earplugs, or maybe in conjunction with both, especially like, I don't know if we were talking about this before we started recording. I think we were. If there was an option to kind of like filter outside sound, and if someone starts to have a conversation with you, or if someone like
on your comm.
Well, not just on your comm. I meant like in person.
Oh, okay.
To see like, because there's one of the Sena Bluetooth headsets. They have like an external mic that essentially feeds
that's right.
what you're hearing like to your ears. So if someone starts talking to you while you have your helmet on, you can hear them a little bit better. Yeah. So it'd be kind of cool if they had that feature, but I didn't see anything specific about that.
Not that I could really find myself either, but no, that was kind of cool.
Yeah. No, it's neat.
Yeah, neat. What's it? Beyond? Geez, the Cardo Beyond. It also, with its smart features, it has like all its tech built into it. It has a helmet health monitoring system, so it can let you know, like, hey, if you drop it, it's like, hey, your helmet's damaged.
Yeah.
Or it's like, hey, expiration's due. Right? I don't know what else the helmet would really need for that other than the crash detection.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I guess good to know. Let you know when you need to spend more money.
I'm sure Cardo would love that.
Yes. They also have so it's using the TalkPack Pro stuff that, what we have external for ours. This is the Beyond TalkPack Pro, that utilizes 2nd gen DMC, open Bluetooth, FM radio, and then the whole mesh boost.
Yeah.
And they're claiming that it can connect up to 31 riders. I forget how many we can have in our, like, the regular talks.
I think it's up there somewhere too, because it basically, like, the way the mesh system works is it connects to one rider, and that rider connects to the other rider, and that connects to the other rider, and it kind of just
31 just sounds chaotic.
Yeah. There's no way I'm riding with 31 people. And there's no way. I don't even know 31 people that A, ride a motorcycle, and B, all have Cardos.
I think like the most
support mesh.
Yeah, I think the most like we've ever had is like 6 or something people connected.
Yeah.
And so like, yeah. And then at that point you're just like, who's talking? Who are you?
Yeah, exactly.
But no, again, good to see they're not just taking like a regular existing TalkPack and then
just slapping it.
Yeah, exactly. So I do appreciate that part from them. And now if you've had something like a GT Air or something that has like integrated like comm systems that you installed, right? You've had to plug in the entire helmet and charge it from there. Like with my old helmet, that's what I had to do with it.
Yeah, I remember that.
So with this helmet, they're including now a removable battery system. So you can detach the battery, charge it separate. They have a wireless charging option. I'm guess is what they're talking about. So I'm guessing it's gonna be like just you set the battery on the thing on your phone. Yeah, and then like in the GTS, you get a 2,000 milliamp
battery.
Thank you, jeez, battery, and then the GT is a 1,000.
Okay.
So, and I don't know. I'm wondering if you can buy the bigger one and plug it into the GT, or if you have to get the GTS if you want like the longer battery life. But
that's a good question. I guess if it depends how they're constructed and whether they have like the space.
I would imagine they would want, if they want to upsell you on the bigger battery, then you have to get the GTS. Would be the only thing, which is standard. So
it makes sense.
Yeah. So
if you're trying to sell stuff to people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like as we go on through this episode, like a lot of this stuff is going to be also features on other helmets similar. But what's unique about the Beyond is upgradable tech. So they've designed this helmet that you can remove those tech components for future upgrades. So if like version 2 comes out, you don't have to buy a whole new helmet. You can buy the unit and swap it out.
Which I think is really great. And I hope they don't kind of go down the route where it's like, oh, this stuff lasts for, usually helmet warranties last for like 5 years. And then they release a new helmet, but they slightly redesign a certain part. They're like, oh, sorry, it doesn't quite fit now. Yeah. Hopefully that won't be the case. But I do like the fact that they're allowing users to kind of replace and upgrade and replace components. Because like you have here, if something breaks.
Oh, yeah, serviceable components. Yeah. So, yeah, if something does break, the whole helmet's not wasted. Which
is great because it would suck to lose out on those smart features. And if they're like integrated like this into a helmet, like you can't just take the old speakers out and put in new speakers or a new microphone. I'm assuming it's all like wired internally built in there. So it's nice that you can actually like swap that out and then put something or replace it if something is broken.
Yeah, and the way like I'm reading through this announcement they had, it seems like they're not like, at least it's not going to be like, oh, now you have to get the version 2 or something, because if you look at the photos, it looks like the old like N64 Game Boy cartridges.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
on the little bricks that you pull out for the sensors and stuff. So So I think that is that's actually like innovation for like.
No,
helmet.
I really like that.
Yeah,
And if someone at Cardo is listening to this, you should send us.
we'll try it out. Yeah,
You should send us some samples. We'll try it out.
yeah,
No, it'd be really cool to like, even if it's just like a Cycle Gear at some local store, to like put one of these on and kind of just see
how it. Yeah,
how it works and I'm just curious to see how everything's kind of like wired in and integrated in there, and to see if like one of the biggest thoughts that I had in my head pop up in my head when they first announced this was, okay, battery pack in the helmet. Helmet is designed to absorb and mitigate impact. Battery impact bad. Right. And it's lithium batteries, like generally not good to puncture and or hit and or smack or smash those kind of batteries. So and I haven't looked into what kind of battery I'm assuming it's something lithium something, but how they kind of like how it's integrated in there to make sure that if something were to happen, if someone were to like crash with the helmet, that they could at least feel comfortable that the battery's not going to like combust with the helmet on.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that one.
And I'm sure that's something they've thought of, because I mean they also have to get all the usual certifications and like safety certifications through both like US and I'm assuming Europe and UK, Asian countries, like anywhere they're planning on selling.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, I think. Yeah, we'll have to see how it goes because again, we don't have anything like pricing.
Yeah,
I would be curious about the weight. I didn't see anything on weight.
That would be my thing too with all that stuff. Well, I feel like the
people that buy shoe bursts, and shoe bursts are kind of like they're nice, but they're kind of
heavier. Bulky.
Yeah,
but I'm also thinking like the heaviest thing would be that battery.
Yeah,
likely.
And it's going to be like up against
the speakers and the mic and stuff. They don't weigh that much. I mean, considering we have pack docks on our helmets, and it's not like they're adding a noticeable amount of weight to an already heavy Hornet.
Yeah. No, yeah. With this helmet too, one thing I would also want to play with, like personally myself, is like the controls. They talked about like there's like tactile feedback. They have like a one button for everything now, not button combos.
Interesting.
But it's like a customizable button.
That I really like.
Yeah, so that would be pretty sweet. You can actually set and
also with
memorize
tactile feedback. Do you know? Do they mean like it's gonna have like haptic feedback, kind of like?
That's what I'm guessing they mean.
Yeah.
Like kind of like with the MacBook. Like when you click on the mouse, it's not actual.
Which I think is kind of cool because it is always it can be sometimes hard to tell if you actually press the button or not. Yeah, with gloves on, and I remember going back to our episode about the new KTM, the sports bike, the R9, the RCR.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the RCR.
The iPad on wheels, right?
Yes, the long iPad.
Well, yeah.
But it had like I remember them mentioning like the controls on that bike had haptic feedback as well. So I wonder if this is kind of like something we'll see a little bit more, maybe coming out on like different bikes and stuff. Because I imagine the haptic motors become pretty small nowadays, considering like Apple can fit them in like the AirPods essentially, or not maybe not the AirPods, but like the iPhone and stuff. So it's like there's got to be some small tech you can probably put in so many different places at this point. But with the Cardo Beyond, like I think I'm liking kind of the idea, but also I feel like so many of the helmets that have like integrated comms in them have also been kind of janky.
Yeah,
like you had a bad experience with was it the HGC or the
well, so I was thinking about that. So my very first helmet was like just a budget HJC just to get me getting in the door, right?
Yeah.
And then I just bought like a $150 Senna thing fit to it. I don't remember, we had like a couple issues, but that was more user error.
Yeah, that was
when we were new to riding. Yeah. But on the GT Air, that did have a fully integrated, like they sold like that pack, the Senna pack. Separate I bought with it to get it fully integrated because I wasn't sure how much I was loving like having the thing on the side of my helmet.
Yeah.
But I've had many issues with that.
And
so I don't know if that's an integration thing or if that's just
the Senna thing.
Maybe Senna. I don't know.
But what I was going, where I was going with that is like, but you didn't really have like an easy way of upgrading that because it's already kind of wired in and integrated for the helmet. And I hate when helmets have like a specific spot for a specific brand to like slide in there because they like partnered with them. It makes it really annoying because I could see a helmet that I'm like, oh, I really like that, but then it's some like Senna or some like random like Cardo object or whatever other brand. And it's like I already have a comms device. I don't want to buy a whole new one just to put on there,
just to replace the one that's not working. That's built in. Yeah,
exactly.
Well, because I thought about that too.
There's been I think Cardo or maybe some other brand, they kind of make like a bracket for some of those helmets where you can like slip it in, but it just has the mount for whatever brand of comms you already have, but it just occupies that same space. So you're not wasting the space just putting something else on. But I think with Cardo, with it being like their helmet and their comms, I feel like the integration could kind of be better there. I don't remember them stating what company or if they or who they partnered with to actually build the helmet.
I can't recall either.
For them.
Yeah.
Or if it's just like full on in-house thing. But I would imagine it's some other manufacturer kind of making something to their specs. But at least I trust the Cardo comms. Like our pack dogs have been working great. The battery life is good. They connect pretty well. I like the design.
I like how easy it slips on and off. I don't have to like take the whole helmet with me to charge.
Yep, exactly. So at least I trust Cardo to kind of make the helmet like function and work well, comms wise. But I think what is going to be tricky, like a trickier thing to sell on is is to sell like riders who are loyal or got used to owning a specific brand of helmet, whether it's Shoei, Arai, Bell, Climb, or any of the numerous other brands that have like been around for a long time and established. I feel like that's where Cardo is going to be a hard sell, is like, hey, I know you've been using your $600 Arai helmet for a while, but do you want to try our probably $700 or $1,000 smart helmet that you never really tried on before and you don't know nothing about, and you might already have a unit on your helmet. So it's going to be like a tricky sell, but I feel like, you know, at least someone is getting like the ball rolling, maybe. So there is something like that.
No, I'm with you on that. Like my point on that was like, I'm not fully sold on integration now, especially having owned an integrated comm system with my Shoei GT Air 2. But I'm willing to see it. I want to try it out. I want to see what Cardo can do in that realm. And maybe the helmet's really nice.
Maybe it is. I wouldn't mind trying it on, but I can't imagine it will be cheap.
No,
because the Cardo unit we have is already like $350. And I mean, one of the helmets is carbon fiber, so it's gonna be well over $1,000 for the two. But if you consider the cost of buying a helmet plus a comm system, I feel like it kind of evens out.
Yeah, well, yeah, and maybe, and who knows, maybe like something like this is gonna be more for like that higher end of motorcycle buyer. Like maybe it's a luxury item.
Yeah, very
but,
true. But Cardo isn't the only motorcycle comms company that does have a helmet, because Senna also has one, and Senna is pretty much the other big name brand in motorcycle comms, also supporting like mesh communication, built-in speakers, like all the usual stuff that we see on our Cardo. And their smart helmet is pretty much very similar to it. It's got the brake lights built in the back. It's got a flashlight in the front for some reason, but everything is integrated within it. And I haven't like read or looked into many like reviews about it and stuff, but what's the price on it? You got it pulled up right there.
Well, there's three different versions. We have a Phantom ANC, and Phantom XB. Working from the Phantom, beginning from $550, all the way to the Phantom XB, which is $600.
That doesn't sound too bad.
And then the ANC does not list a price.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So $600 is actually not bad, because if you're getting a helmet plus
and comms
together, but Cardo is better. So
yeah,
maybe, I don't know.
We've had more luck.
Yeah. I've never used the Senna. I just went straight into Cardo and then convinced all my other friends to get Cardo, so I don't have to buy anything else.
Well, all of you guys who had Cardo not having issues where I was having issues, like I don't know if that was I don't know if that was me trying to bring my Senna into a Cardo world that was causing an issue, or if it was like or I didn't really know anyone else who had a Senna.
Yeah,
so
I didn't either.
Yeah,
and
so
I remember like I think I watched like the one Fortnite video where he compared different comp systems, and he was like, Cardo's better. So I was like, all right, cool. I'll just get that.
Try it out.
I'll just buy that and get the most expensive one right off the bat.
Yeah.
So very similar stuff on the Senna, and I'm assuming like, so I'd be kind of curious to see how well the Cardo does versus the Senna, because I don't know if I've ever seen, I don't know anyone personally that owns a Senna helmet. Out of all the
Never seen a
riders
Senna helmet. No.
yeah, I haven't even seen one like in stores. So I'm kind of curious to see how Cardos is kind of also going to weave into the market, or if it's just going to be kind of there, like they make it, they sell it, but it's not really going to be something that people latch onto. So that brings us to those two kind of like more established brands of comm systems having a take on their helmet. But there's been plenty of smart helmets that have kind of showed up and didn't really go anywhere or do anything. And one of the big ones that comes in is Scully. And
I would say that's the first one I've heard about. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I've heard about it, but I just didn't think of it at the time. But I remember back, I think it was like maybe 2017, I think it was 2017. I was down in LA for kind of helping out with this like YouTuber influencer like event thing. And once that was done, we kind of like a free day just to roam around. So we went, me and a few of my college classmates, we kind of went and roamed around Venice Beach and LA. We went like a mall at Santa Monica. And I remember I walked into this like gadget store. They sold like a bunch of cool random gadgets. And one of the things they had was a smart helmet. And I'm pretty sure it was this brand. I'm pretty sure it was Scully. But at the time, I didn't know, because one, I didn't have the idea in my head to ever ride a motorcycle at the time. And two, I was like, oh yeah, that's kind of cool. But I remember seeing kind of like a little screen inside, and it's basically like a little monitor that flips down that you can look at. But Scully started out, or I guess came into existence like 2014, and it did not last very long. It lasted maybe like 3-4 years.
Something
tops.
like, yeah.
And the whole idea was basically they pitched the idea to have a smart motorcycle helmet to improve like safety, rider awareness, and kind of make it easier for riders to, ride. And they started a whole crowdfunding campaign on Indiegogo, raised $2.4 million, and then gained an additional $11 million from like venture capitalists. And then they got shut down in 2016 after only delivering 200 helmets. And there was a separate company that kind of tried to salvage it and kind of bought them out, get them going again. Maybe they thought they liked the idea, and then it filed full-on bankruptcy in like 2017. And most people didn't quite get their order. I hope they got their money back, at least from backing the campaign.
I hope so, yeah.
But it just seemed like it came and went. And 3 years is not a long time. So it's kind of went and gone. And after one of the articles that I read about is there was a former employee that was basically saying that the founders of the company, like they raised all this money and they basically used it for like personal purchases, fund money, and all that stuff. And they just kind of shut it. I think there was like around 50 employees that worked for them, and they were just kind of all out of the job. After the change in leadership and attempts to actually deliver on the promised product, the company filed for bankruptcy and then ultimately shut down.
Well, and when I was doing my research for this episode too, I found an article from 2014 on Revzilla, which, by the way, if you guys are looking for Christmas gifts, any new gear, if you use our affiliate link, it doesn't cost you anything extra. It'll just give the show a little kickback and support so we can continue to grow and improve.
Yep. And that link is down in the description below.
Yeah. But anyway, reading through like the Revzilla article on here, one thing that caught my eye, and I've seen this happen before, like with other like, I don't want to say not scam, because they were trying to do stuff, but like they were unwilling to let the journalist like try it out on a ride.
That would always be such a big red flag.
Well, and like on one hand, yes, but then like what the writer of the article also goes on to state that, as a startup, they didn't have like the insurance sufficient enough to let somebody go out and ride. So legally, there was some legal issues there too. But at the same time, it's like you guys might want to like do like a closed circuit or do something. I don't know, do
Something like
something
that.
because like anytime somebody's like selling a new thing and you're like, well, it's not ready yet.
Yeah.
You know. But they did let him try it on and see all the features for it. I mean, we won't spend too much time any more than you want to on it, but yeah, it had AR built in, like actual like camera. It would display like maps and speed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds about right, because whatever one I tried on in that store, that random store, basically had all that.
How'd it look,
random.
by the way? I was curious. Like,
I also don't remember. To me, it just looked like a black motorcycle helmet, because I didn't really
well, I
know
mean,
the difference.
did you see like any of the stuff come up on the screen at all?
I think it was
or-
like a demo screen. I just remember seeing some numbers, and it's kind of see-through, but it's like a little bit of a darker, like tinted glass almost in front of you. Okay. But I mean, to me, it looked okay. It kind of reminded me of like old VGA monitors a little bit, kind of not super high resolution, but when you're looking at just meant for your eye, it doesn't really need to be.
Yeah, well, this might
crazy
date me a little
detail.
bit, but do you remember like when the newer version of the Camaro first came out back in the 2000s? But
Maybe.
they tried, like Chevy had tried out like a heads-up display, like on the windshield, like a display on the windshield for your speedometer and everything like that, and it just kind of looked bad.
Really?
Like,
Okay.
But yeah, anyway, but that's why I was afraid it would do something. It's like this just looks,
Yeah.
you know, because it's a small piece of tech, and this is from 11 years ago. So
Yeah. And the techs have improved a lot since then, so I feel like it's a little bit more.
we can't hold like the
might-
timing of it coming
Yeah.
coming out to its actual quality back then,
But
it ran into issues.
not allowing reviewers or anyone to like look at it or try it out beforehand, that would send me a big red flag. It's like when a company releases a new video game or a movie and they're like not sending it out advanced copies
Yeah.
to
Not to go
reviewers.
off on a tangent, but like there was like someone was trying to introduce like a flying car, and like
Oh, yeah.
that was like last year or 2 years ago, and like you saw the video and it's like very clear cut. It's like they show someone getting in, it cuts and it's taking off, and you're like, it's very obvious that that's just a giant drone.
Yeah. I feel like there's every couple of years we get some random companies saying like bringing flying cars to like mass production or mass market, and they'll have like
Or the
one
Tesla
prototype.
robot, that scam, yeah. So
They'll have like one prototype and then you never hear about that company again.
right, yep, exactly. So
But so Scully kind of like tried to attempt it. So the items were actually the helmets themselves were going for as much as $1,400, and that's in 2014 money. Yeah. And that's what they were like going for. Like if you backed that $1,400 package on Indiegogo, then you would get the helmet. But those people never ended up receiving them because the company just straight up went under. Which, I mean, it's crazy amount of money for something that's once again brand new, unproven, and from a company that people have not really heard of, versus like I said earlier, an established helmet brand.
yeah, fun fact, I decided to look this up right as you stated that $1,500 in 2014 is equal to $2,031 this year.
So
adjusting for inflation,
Yeah,
that's
crazy.
That's a little steep.
Yeah. So Scully failed. They're now, I totally forgot about them until I was, looking stuff up for this episode. And I was like, oh, you know what? That kind of sounds familiar-ish, I guess.
Yeah. Astronomical odds, but it'd be actually pretty cool to hear from somebody who had one of these helmets. Or
That would be
something.
those. That would be awesome. The other brand I had is Foresight, and that was FORCITE, and they're also like a smart helmet brand that I've actually also never seen. I've never
heard of that brand.
Person.
Yeah, personally.
But they actually got bought out by GoPro last year, and now GoPro owns them, probably owns all their patents and things like that. And GoPro is partnering with AGV to create a GoPro co-branded helmet. And basically what Foresight was doing is also kind of integrating a lot of the stuff into their helmets. But it also included a camera. So built-in action camera in the front, 1080p, 60 frames per second, which is okay by today's standards. I feel like most action cams and stuff is moving on to 4K or even higher. Yeah. And but at least it was 60 frames. So it kind of had that built in there. It had and what I thought was kind of cool, and so instead of doing a heads-up display, they did like basically an LED strip at the bottom of the helmet that will light up different colors to indicate whatever it's supposed to indicate. So it had like in their like little demo video, it showed like it would blink to the left if you have a left turn coming up from your navigation, or blink to the right if you had a right turn coming up. It would use like orange to caution you about like traffic or road construction up ahead, or I think it was like red to tell you that there's like a cop might be sitting up further up. And I feel like that's a little bit of a nicer integration, because I feel like the light just kind of fades into the background versus like you actively having to read or look at anything there. Especially the navigation thing. If it's like blinking left or right, then you're like, oh, okay, cool. I got a left turn coming up, which I thought was kind of neat.
Yeah, at least there's an effort there to not pull your attention away from the writing.
Exactly. It did have integrated speakers built into it, so a comm system. But the interesting thing, so it did have a comm system built in, it had speakers built in for like your phone and your music, but those speakers did not have any means of comms between other riders, so you can't really connect to another rider and talk through it. So
you have to get a talk pack or something anyway.
Yeah, and basically communication, this is directly from their website. Like communication is managed via VoIP or phone call, which I'm like, cool, but if you don't have any service, then you essentially can't talk to the person you're riding with.
It's all through the...
So it kind of defeats that purpose of having stuff built in if you can't even communicate to the people around you.
Yeah.
Now, this is like just quick information I found like in the one helmet that they pretty much had like listed on their website. And then later on, I found out that GoPro actually acquired them. So now I'm curious to see what GoPro is going to do. And I feel like GoPro's already been kind of... I mean, they've really had the corner on like the action camera market for a while.
Yeah.
And now there's competitors from like Insta360, DJI, that are kind of taking away a lot of their market share. So I was kind of surprised. I was like, oh, okay. GoPro's like, they did that. They're trying to like expand into that market. And I hope it's successful for them, because I do like GoPro products. I use them. And I'm curious to see what kind of use they would do with a motorcycle helmet. But if they can integrate some of their camera tech into a front-facing like integrated camera and make it work with like the GoPro app, I think that would be really cool. Especially right now with the rise of like moto vlogging and so many people kind of like trying their hand at that. If it can have a high quality mic built in and like record locally,
so you don't have to do the whole,
and as well as like a good built-in camera, I feel like a lot of people would be very interested in that, especially if they're partnering with a brand that's already making helmets.
Right. Yeah, they don't have to go out and...
They don't have to like try and recreate their own brand new helmet, but they're like, hey, AGV, can we put in some of our GoPro tech into your helmet tech and see what would come up? So that one, I feel like out of all the helmets that I've looked through for this episode, is the one that kind of intrigued me the most, because I feel like you have a proper camera company and a proper helmet company working together. They're actually going to have like good components.
They're not trying to make it all on their own.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, then one thing I caught on this one too is that this one is also, the Mark 1S is also made from a carbon fiber composite.
Okay.
That they're going to put on there. So again, like we're getting into like back to like the beyond, like at least in shell stuff, they're going to at least be comparable with AGV and Beyond. Whoever's making Beyonds, I couldn't find who was doing that one.
So yeah, the GoPro integration, I think, is probably the one that I would love to keep an eye out on now that I know about it. Yeah. So it'd be really cool to see that, especially if it can like work with the GoPro app later on, where you can just offload the footage from there, use their like crazy good stabilization. But I'm also wondering like how much can you actually fit into the front of that helmet if you're putting an action cam there. Right. I still don't think it'll be as good as like a dedicated GoPro camera, but if it's integrated, I feel like a lot of people would like that, especially if you can also make the audio work well and the like mic recording. So for motor vlogging, essentially.
No, I'm gonna wrap the mic cord around your helmet or like shove it in your pocket, and which we've tried. Yeah,
and I really couldn't find any more information on what GoPro is planning on doing with them.
It sounds like it's something in development at least, or like it's like, hey, hang tight, we're not quite ready. Yeah, but here's here's a page, like we've listed stuff. Like I didn't see where it was like, I guess they're selling their current version. Is that what I'm noticing?
I'm not sure. To me, it just looked like,
it
was just try it in store and that's it. But there was no like actual way to order one, which brings me to another company, which I was also kind of like really iffy about. And so actually, it's kind of two. Okay, I'll go with. So there was one that was called like ICH, which was Intelligent Cranium Helmets. Kind of a weird name, but also started out as a Kickstarter. and we saw how one of those turned out. Started as a Kickstarter, and basically their whole plan was to make it also a smart helmet with like the AR built in, and this one actually had like, I looked through their Kickstarter page, they actually had like a little screen there so you can actually see. But one of the key selling points they had is one of the trims had a front-facing camera, like action camera built in, but the highest trim, which topped out at $1,800, had a rear-facing camera, so you have like full awareness of your
Well, that was a
surroundings.
feature that Scully was touting about too. It was
like a rear face.
Yeah,
Okay,
a 360, or
so,
not quite 360, but yeah, rear facing.
Yeah, so and the little HUD screen like flips out, and you can see what's also behind you. Which I'm like, cool. That sounds on hand. That sounds fine, but at the same time, you should probably also be using your mirrors and not be relying on a piece of tech that can potentially fail. Yeah. And I feel like it's one of those things where, you know, it kind of takes away from the awareness you should have as a motorcycle rider by just relying on like a piece of tech.
Yeah, you should be alert on your own.
Yeah,
because we've talked about it. I think we talked about it after. It's like cameras. I don't know about the camera thing. It's great for cars because you're in a bubble.
Yeah.
You're in a bubble.
Yeah,
but
a car, I think, is totally fine. And most cars, like, the cameras turn off after a certain speed. It's not like you're constantly looking. Yeah. And I don't know. I didn't see any specific information on how this helmet works. If like you're always seeing what's behind you, or is it maybe only when you're stopped? But yeah, so the dual camera for surround view. They were also mentioned they had like proximity sensors that you can add to your motorcycle itself, and the helmet will alert you if you're like too close to something. Almost like I guess to me, I interpret it as almost like a parking sensor in your car where you're backing in, which I'm like, I don't feel like I ever ran into that issue on the bike.
I try not to get close to cars anyway.
I try not to get too close to anything on my bike. But maybe if you're parking and you can't quite see behind you.
You got a giant BMW loaded up and you can't see around.
Exactly. And was funded by Kickstarter and Indiegogo campaigns, and currently in development. They actually did ship a few units like earlier this year. So far, the last update was in May 2025, and they had 75 helmets delivered so far. So it's still kind of like a newer, more startup-ish kind of environment, it seems. But what they, one of the status updates basically said, and this is a direct quote from their website, based on order and demand as we ramp up, all new orders are currently available for pre-order only and manufactured after the order is placed, allowing for customization based on your specific needs. Lead times vary between 6 to 8 weeks, especially for made-to-order purchases, which to me was like, if I'm buying a helmet, one, I don't know if I want to wait 6 to 8 weeks for it to get here, and two, if there isn't one available for me to personally try on,
how am I going to know?
And it's like custom made,
right,
like as it's ordered, to me that kind of immediately set off a big red flag where it's like, why isn't it just being like shipped right away? And it's like a weird economic environment, like tariffs and things like that. They did mention on their website that they're going to absorb the cost of the tariffs for the parts that they need to bring. But at the same time, it's like a company that you don't know about. You can only pre-order the helmet. You can't just straight up buy it. And until it's like physically available in store shelves and is shipping in mass quantities, I'm a little bit iffy about.
Yeah, like for anyone who's wanting to try something like that out and has the means to, it's like that's just something you're going to have to assess yourself as a risk you want to take on that. Because but
exactly.
Yeah.
And then there was also like the.
Never mind. I was just gonna say with the helmets, like they are sending models out.
They sent a few out, but it's still it's that coat specifically where it's only available for pre-order, and not actually.
It's a custom build job,
yeah, and not actually purchasable right off the bat, which I'm like, And then there was also the cross helmet X1 that we saw as well, which was also priced at like $1,800, and it had like similar features to the ICH with the heads-up display, noise canceling, rear view camera, and the biggest thing I noticed it had like swipe controls.
That was what I was about to say actually too.
Which to me, if you ever use swipe controls on anything that's not a phone or a tablet or something that's supposed to be interactive with touch, they suck. Like my pair of Sony noise canceling headphones that I have, it has swipe controls on the side. They work fine because you're just using a finger without a glove. Right. But they probably wouldn't work any other way.
Yeah, and I just don't know, like even like using like a phone screen like that is meant to be more like sensitive and stuff to that. You know, it's like you have a glove on, you're still like,
Yeah, it never works well with gloves. The capacitive gloves, I feel like that whatever touch point on them always ends up in a weird place. You're never quite know where your fingers, like what your finger is clicking. So to me, that one was like, that would be an immediate no for me.
yeah, and that would have to be, if somebody really wants that, that just seems like kind of a toy almost with the, you know, so it's like, no, give me some buttons
give me some actual buttons that I can feel with my
glove on,
and then I don't have to wear like special capacitive gloves.
You're wearing a glove. Like, how are you supposed to find
I'm assuming you just know the general area and kind of swipe back and forth. But then if your gloves don't have the touch screen stuff on them,
or you got to keep
doing
register
it, or you have to keep like swiping until it finds it. I don't know. Give me big buttons.
Exactly.
Big giant buttons.
That was exactly what I was going to bring up if you didn't.
Yeah. Click in.
I will say though, like one thing I will say good about the helmet that I saw is like it looks like a fighter pilot helmet. Like,
it kind of does.
I've got to rotate it the other way to actually see it, but it's got an interesting look to it, but it also seems kind of like, I wonder what their shell shapes are, because it does seem pretty bubbly, like bobbleheady, you know, but it's got some tech in it, and that
got
giant
the rear view
swipe pad.
camera, and the swipe pad for me, I was just like, and it's $1,800.
Yeah, which
it's crazy expensive.
Yeah, like I'm not trying to like just like rag on this thing at all, but like if you go to like on the website, you look at the interior, that looks a little uncomfortable. Like it looks like that would just get really sweaty.
It's kind of like that leatherette material.
Yeah. So like I just noticed that just caught my eye, and like with like the padding around the ear. I don't know. I don't know.
Once again, another brand that I've never actually heard of until today. And I feel like unless they're at Cycle Gear or listed on like Revzilla's website, I mean, I realistically, unless they're at Cycle Gear or local dealers where I can physically try on the helmet, I doubt I would ever buy one. Unless it's like a specific, like maybe color or something that I want. And then I would buy it, try it on, send it back if it doesn't fit. But preferably with helmets, I just want to buy them in store because then I can just try them on in person.
Yeah, I don't really ever want to buy a helmet online again.
No.
That's what I did with my Shoei. I had to return it.
Yeah, I don't want to do it either. It's just too much of a hassle. So that's kind of like the more unknown brands, but we do have for the last one a known brand of Shoei. Yeah. Both of which me and you, Mitch and I, we both have Shoei helmets. We have the Hornet X2, but
and I had the GTR 2.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. So this is a GTR 3 with smart.
Yeah, it's a smart GTR 3. So the GTR 3 has already been around. It was announced, I think, like either late last year or earlier this year sometime. But that's their basically touring helmet. It's got the drop-down visor. It's a street helmet. It's got all the, it's got the ratchet strap that you can do with one hand. So kind of easy to use, get around, and they're from established company. But the smart helmet, they partnered with a company called iLight. And iLight also makes a separate heads-up display unit that can be added to any helmet. And this is the one that I kind of thought looked the cleanest and the most well-integrated out of all of them. Yeah. But I also like the fact that Shoei allows you to flip up the visor if you don't want it in the way. But looking on iLight's website, I thought one of the more interesting things is the way that it looks. It just basically displays, like it had like a navigation up as an example on their site, and it basically showed like a right turn arrow and a map going, and that was basically it. But you can still see through. There's no camera. There's no rear view camera built into it. It's just basically like a see-through heads-up display. Right, yeah. Which I was like, that actually looks kind of clean. It's a Sony-made display. It's high resolution. It's OLED. So I feel like it's going to be one of those things that people work kind of better. Like you see in that photo where it's very see-through. And
if you've seen Iron Man, you've seen this, yeah.
And Shoei is a reputable brand. A lot of people love it. So them kind of integrating into it, I feel like kind of inclines more people to basically have one.
Right, yeah.
And then, but then also the Shoei Smart Helmet, like it was just recently announced last month. So there's no like pricing specifically out for it yet. I don't even know if it's out in the US yet. I just seen it on like European websites. Yeah. And I'm not seeing like Shoei's US website, so I'm not even sure if it's coming to the US market or if it is when. But it is on a few like European retailer websites. So basically, the HUD is made, like I said, by iLights, and it's their Easy Ride product. So the HUD is not made by Shoei. It's not like their attempt to make it. They just basically took an existing company and integrated it in there, almost like integrating comms or partnering with a comms company to have specific comms developed for your helmet. And then it's got built-in comms, audio speakers, noise canceling. But the really interesting part that I noticed is that it does have mesh comms, which they state can work with multiple brands. So if you can have it work with, I feel like this would be a very
we've complained so
solution.
many times about connecting our helmets and stuff. We've said that both Senna and Cardo was like, hey guys, you need to figure out like some standard that everyone can connect to. Yeah.
But yeah, they have mesh comms that they state that potentially can work with any brand, which I think it would be awesome because mesh comms are way more convenient than Bluetooth comms. And they just connect more seamlessly, and you can connect to multiple riders without having to like do this weird daisy chain thing that you do with Bluetooth. They promised about 10 hours of battery life, which is nice. I did not see if the battery is removable or not, however, and estimated to be priced around $1,200, which I think is kind of reasonable if you're buying a GT Air plus a comms system.
I think like my GT Air 2 with the Senna pack that I bought with the integrated pack to install that with, it came to like total price on that was like $1,000, I think. So that's ballpark,
kind of right up there,
you know. Yeah. And then with it being like from this iLights or it's not like they have to design a whole new piece specifically.
Yeah, you know, exactly. And iLight, like I said, it sells the heads-up display separately. It's 200 euros. I don't know if I haven't seen the US price, but it's you can put it in any helmet and get that heads-up display, which I think would be kind of curious. I'm very curious to I'll be very curious to try it out.
Yeah, the iRide just by iLights. Yeah,
just to see how it looks. But that kind of brings me to the overall discussion of having like all these different smart features in the helmet. First of all, helmets, I feel like A, are already pricey enough, and B, I feel like a lot of people, at least people that I know that ride, aren't particularly interested in seeing those kind of features. The helmet is purely like, there's no electronics in the helmet. It's mechanical. The only mechanical moving part is basically the visor on it and then some vents. I don't know how I feel about my helmet having more stuff in it that can potentially break or cause issues or short out if you get caught in a rainstorm or numerous other things that can happen to it. But also with like all these heads-up displays, like how much more distraction or how much more information do we want to bombard ourselves with while riding?
Yeah, no, and that's I agree. Essentially, like for me, like personally, you know, like getting out on my motorcycle, riding, whether alone or with friends, like whether I want to listen to music or if I need my phone out for navigation, right? Like, like it's still my way to escape from all that stuff. Like
Same
tech
here.
is around everything. Like, you know, if I owned a house and my fridge went out, like I'm screwed. I'm gonna have to get like pretty much like a smart fridge nowadays.
Yeah,
you know, and I just like even like TVs. I wish I could just get like a nice TV that doesn't have anything. It's just a screen, and I can just plug in what I need.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, it's my way to escape, and I don't really want that following or creeping into my head when I'm writing. You know, personally, but
I was gonna say like I feel like we already live in a world that is so constantly bombarded with information, like constant ads with everything you do, anywhere you go, billboards, radio ads, Spotify ads, ads on TV, streaming services, any website you go to, like ads, constant information, constant consumption, constant everything.
And constant AI, and I don't want anything AI.
But on a motorcycle, you know, I put my phone on Do Not Disturb, or I have like a rider mode set up, so I do get some notifications from like people I'm riding with or phone calls just in case, but kind of mutes everything else. And I don't want to do any of that. I just want to focus on the ride. I want to enjoy my time. I want to get some fresh air, cruise on my bike. I don't really want to see random stuff popping up, especially in my eye line.
Right. No, yeah, I'm with you on that one. Yeah, like, well, I was thinking about it this week, and I just ultimately, for me, it's just like, I just don't want that stuff in there. But then at the same time, it's like I was reading through a lot of these things, or mostly like with I guess it's really only the Cardo that had it, but it's something like a crash detection.
Yeah.
That's really cool, you know? And I don't know if maybe there's a way it's paired to your phone. It's a crash detection and if you're in Signal, it can send a GPS location.
Yeah.
Stuff
like that.
Services.
Like
yeah.
Full on safety stuff, I think is kind of neat to have. But that's also something you can get on like most smartwatches nowadays as well. Like my Apple smartwatch or even the iPhone, the newer iPhones, they have crash
We're already
detection
connected
as well.
to everything. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, how much more expense do I add to my helmet beyond what's already there?
Yeah.
But at least, I mean, it's always an option for people that do want to experiment or do want to have that stuff. But with how much tech I use on a daily basis already, I feel like when it comes to motorcycling, I just want to put all that to the side and just have my music, my helmet, my bike. I mean, I already have my phone mounted on the handlebars themselves. Mm-hmm. I don't think I need any more or anything else getting in my way of riding.
Yeah, and and I can see on the other side, like the argument to what we're saying, right, is that like we have to buy a helmet, then you got to buy the system, then you got to get the phone mount, and or you got to connect to your bike for charging or whatever it is, run the GoPro, set all the mic wires. Like I see the appeal there.
Yeah,
that's why I like the Foresight one. Is like they're taking an established brand, and same with like the Shoei thing, and then they're building tech into this already good thing.
I do agree, and I also think I like the idea of just a basic heads-up display a lot more than anything to do like a 360 camera or a rear view, because I feel like as a rider you should be aware of your surroundings and not rely on the little screen to tell you what's behind you. Have proper mirrors, get them properly adjusted. You have to have mirrors anyways.
And a camera, it's having like, if you're going to rely on a camera for your blind spot or behind you or whatever, it's the same thing, right? Like on a lot of like the fancier bikes, they have like some of them can have like little indicators for blind spot detection.
Yeah.
You shouldn't rely on those either, even if it has it. It's like you should still be looking.
I think like it should be just your habit, like second nature, to always check your mirrors, always be aware of everything going around your bike, because you're already well more compromised than any car driver is going to be.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that's go ahead.
Oh, and then but I'm just kind of like nitpicking a bit with it, but like one thing that's really nice with like the Beyond idea, the Cardo one, is like they're making innovations to speakers and sounds, and then with like a removable battery. Or we even talked about it like with this eyesight thing. Like if you want like a smart helmet feature, build that into like a attachable unit.
Yeah.
That you can run through your helmet like we already have to do.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily see like an all-out benefit to having it all be one unit.
Yeah, I don't either. I would rather much have it like piece it together myself than
or make like those little packs, those attachable packs that have like stuff, so you don't have to like mess with a GoPro or mic. It can run into the helmet.
Like if Cardo were to make basically the Pack Talk Mobile, but with like an SD card slot in it, so I can record the audio locally, peak. I would buy it instantly.
Yeah, same.
Like
I would probably upgrade.
Record like a WAV file to the.
We can take the show on the road.
Then you take the SD card, I plug it into the computer, you have high quality audio. Because the Cardo does let us record like to the phone using the Bluetooth. That doesn't sound quite good because Bluetooth doesn't really transmit that much data back and forth. So it's fine, but it's not like perfect. But if it had it built in, peak, make it happen. That would be awesome. That'd be awesome, especially with like all the motovlogging and stuff that's going on right now.
Yeah.
I think that'd be really cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then you're not having to like necessarily jump into like a startup or something you don't really know. Like,
exactly.
So
I think that was it.
I think so. Yeah. Like, it is interesting. I know we've had episodes like in the past where we talked about, motorcycles, keeping them innovated and stuff like,
that was actually, you just reminded me of something I was going to mention, is that it's funny because in the there's been episodes before where I mentioned like, I want to see this kind of tech or this kind of tech.
CarPlay. We've talked
like CarPlay and motorcycles and stuff, especially ones that have big screens. But when it comes to helmets and stuff being like right up front, I don't really care for more tech.
Yeah.
Like put it into the bike itself if the bike makes sense. Don't put it on like a Bonneville. Don't put it on like a classic looking bike, but put it on like the Tiger or like like the African Twin already has it. So
And I think when we say like stuff like tech and smart features, like we have to differentiate between like that and then like, bikes do have tech, the IMUs and traction control and everything like that.
tech that actually makes sense and helps and makes it safer to ride or easier to ride.
Yeah,
all that
like stuff like that, like, that helps the rider, but doesn't like plug them into like the Internet of Things and having them all connected and just stuff like that. So
cool.
But yeah, I think that was what I had for him. My last thing I would say again to Cardo is that like on top of making this helmet, they've made like a new like talk pack thing for it.
Yeah,
like with more people being attached to it and like some of their other connection options that they had with that. So they're still like sticking to what they know with that. So
I agree.
So if we see stuff like that moving forward, then I'm happy.
It's more like a light step instead of trying to make a giant leap somewhere.
Quit trying to like redesign the wheel, so.
Anyways, thank you guys so much for listening. And if you have experience with using one of these smart helmets, or if you have like the Scully or the ICH, if you're one of the backers and stuff, and we would love to, if you are listening to this, shoot us an email because we'd love to hear about your experience. Or if you have used any of like smart helmets before, shoot us an email because I'm just very curious it would be interesting to hear about to hear how people like if they like them or not from actual riders.
I'm willing to be proven wrong on all this stuff. So
100%.
Yeah.
Anyways, thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode.